Okay. So, hi, my name is Laura Cameron, and I'd like to welcome you to Office Hours with Stitchcraft Marketing. I am our Director of Operations and an account manager here at Stitchcraft. We're a boutique marketing agency. We work with crafty entrepreneurs in the fiber and fabric space. And Office Hours are our way of giving back to you, giving you a little bit of information about what's going on in the marketing world, and also a chance for you to ask us questions. We are live on Zoom now with a group of individuals, and this will be posted to YouTube afterwards. There will be a description and some links in the box below. So if you'd like to join us for a future office hours, you can sign up for our mailing list and you will get invitations. We do these approximately once a month. So today's topic is updates to Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Back in 2020, we started, hang on just a second, back in 2020, we built some guides. They are, I would like to say one-page guides, but really the whole thing is 8 pages in a PDF now. They are guides to Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. It's a little bit of a guide to get you started, what kind of content you should be posting, how to optimize things. And then from time to time, approximately every 6 to 9 months, we go ahead and update with new things on the platforms. Obviously, things are changing on these platforms every single day, but we try and hit the highlights every few months or so you know about the new features and things you can do. We do focus on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest because we find those are the 3 best platforms for crafty business owners in terms of reaching your audience and generating traffic to your website. We will have a little bit of information in our presentation today about TikTok, and obviously there are other social media platforms and you can apply a lot of this to those, and we just don't focus on those as like our 3 key platforms. All of what I'm going to talk about today is kind of summarized in an article on our blog that I believe went up last Wednesday. So that is available for you via the link on the screen, or you can just go to stitchcraftmarketing.com/blog and find the graphic that looks like this one, and the blog post will be right there. So let's start with Facebook. It's all about the metaverse these days. And even though I hate calling it that, and I still call it Facebook, Facebook now has 2.9 billion monthly active users, which means a staggering 36.8 of the Earth's population logs in regularly. That's a lot of people around the world. One of the reasons we like Facebook is it is the favored platform of users over 35, and many of those folks are in your prime crafting audience. So it is a way to reach them. People spend at least 30 minutes a day on Facebook scrolling through things. They like to participate in groups. Many people buy via posts that they see on social media these days. So if you are not taking advantage of the opportunities that Facebook has to offer, you are missing out on a potential way to connect with your customers. Let's talk about some of the new things on Facebook. Facebook, as does Instagram, and of course both are owned by the metaverse, is focusing a lot on video content. In the last 6 months, Reels have expanded to Facebook, and according to Meta, Facebook users spend nearly half their time watching videos. They promote videos in their algorithm. They want to see a mix of content from you, whether it be static posts or videos. They might be short, witty clips. They might be lives where you're going for sale, but also they want to see you post some reels. So if you're already creating reels or other short form video content, or if you're creating longer video content that you can excerpt, you might try experimenting with reels. You can also post reels to your Instagram account and then also have it post simultaneously to Facebook. So you don't necessarily have to post in both places as 2 separate things now. Facebook is building out its Meta Business Suite. This used to be called Facebook Business Suite. Again, now it is changing to Meta. You can see that they changed the logo and sort of the logo and the text up at the top in the top left-hand corner. You can see that now it says Meta Business Suite. They are working to consolidate a lot of their different platforms, everything from Creator Studio to their advertising section. They're trying to give you a kind of one-stop shop in your business suite to be able to do all the things you want to do on Facebook and Instagram. And they are starting to add additional control over ad placements under Meta Advantage. We We expect this is just going to continue, and other pieces of the various Facebook universe will start to go away as they consolidate everything into this section. So we find that the business suite is actually really handy for us. We used to use third-party schedulers for social media, and now we can manage pretty much everything in the Facebook business suite for a lot of our clients for both Facebook and Instagram. It is a time saver, and if you're doing a lot of your social media yourself, you can get in there, you can create a bunch of posts and schedule them. They'll go out over both platforms, and so it just makes it a little bit easier and more efficient for your social media efforts. Facebook is also focusing on creators, and you will see this across the platform. Facebook understands that in order to keep you on the platform, there has to be great content keeping you captivated. And they also understand that in order to have some of that great content, they are going to have to share the spoils with the creators. So there are lots of new funds for metaverse creators, including Horizon Worlds, which focuses a lot on graphics and animation. And there are also expanded monetization tools for Reels, and they will be integrating product tagging and other things within Reels in the coming months. I believe it is already rolled out in some places, but it will continue to roll out. So there are potentially ways that you can earn money and sales and referral traffic to your Reels. I see there's something in chat. Metaverse is basically the conglomerate that holds Facebook and Instagram. They have renamed it Metaverse. That was a Mark Zuckerberg thing, and it's kind of it's hard because the metaverse also refers to everything that we do online and everything that we do that's interactive, but the parent company of Facebook is now Metaverse. So that's what I am referring to. Like I said, it's a little complicated to keep everything straight, but you can thank Mark Zuckerberg for that. So now let's talk about Instagram. Instagram has 1 billion users, so not quite as many as Facebook. Of these, over 61% are between the ages of 18 and 34. This may not be your exact target market right now, because I know a lot of your customer avatars are slightly older than this. However, Instagram is basically a place where a lot of tomorrow's crafters are congregating. So being on Instagram means you may attract attention from new crafters. And there is a really strong both knitting and crochet and crafting contingent, lots of sewing on Instagram. You can go ahead and look at the hashtags and see what people are posting in your Explore tab. And my guess is you'll find a lot of crafty content on there. So Instagram has announced that for this year, its focus is on videos, messaging, transparency, and creators. So that's a lot of what we've been hearing both from Facebook and from a lot of the other sites. Obviously, they are prioritizing videos in their algorithms with Reels, with actual video content. They want people to make connections and share their message on Instagram. They say they're making a nod more to transparency, and I suppose this is true in the sense that if you're creating tagged product pins, or you are allowing, you are enabling, they have a lot of creator, what am I thinking of? I'm blanking on the word for it now. You are allowed to promote business partnerships with sponsored products, and you can tag that very easily in your posts now. So they are trying to sort of add some transparency to what you are seeing on Instagram, even though quite a bit of it is advertising. And they are also supporting their creators. This is a screenshot from a website that they have built, which is more about how to, it's a collection of videos from a variety of successful creators on Instagram to sort of share their formula for success and help you build your content, build your content and build your reputation as a creator on Instagram. This is particularly if you want to be a social media influencer, but I think there are a lot of tips in there for all of us, building a content strategy, defining your voice, experimenting with the creative tools. All of these videos, I think, go a long ways to sort of helping you build your profile on Instagram. Instagram has made a bunch of changes to its existing features. It has retired IGTV in favor of adding videos to the main feed. So if you look at your screen now, you will have a video tab, and all of your old IGTV videos now live on that video tab. You can also now add videos to your main feed, basically as though you would add a regular static content post. They've just kind of taken away the special designations for that. They've added the ability to auto-generate captions to feed videos, which is great because it increases accessibility to those who are hard of hearing or hearing impaired. Many of us love that they brought back the chronological feed. You do have to toggle into it, and it is only accessible on your mobile device. You can toggle into home is basically where the Instagram algorithm kind of feeds you what they think you want to see. Following is literally a chronological feed of everyone you are following, and favorites is if you have added someone to your favorites, you will only see those posts in that stream, and you can also manage your favorites there. So that gives you back a little bit of control over what you're seeing. Sadly, it won't get rid of all the ad traffic, but it does let you go back to a chronological feed and see those posts most important to you, or in a chronological order from the people you follow, rather than just the same 4 posts that Instagram wants you to see. I know that I have been frustrated lately because every time I open Instagram on my phone, it shows me the same 5 posts that showed me last time, but as soon as I switch over to following, I get new content. Instagram Reels are their short form video to kind of compete with TikTok. I talked about these on Facebook as well. They have been expanded from 60 to 90 sections, and product tagging has been added. So like I said, they are trying to give us more options to monetize Reels. So or convert to sales. So you may be able to post a short reel featuring a product and then link it to, if you have a Facebook shop, you can also make Instagram shoppable posts and reels. So like I said, stories and reels are a big, stories have been big, but reels are starting to become the big thing. And unfortunately, it looks like Instagram is testing out kind of dampening stories a little bit. In May, Instagram announced it will test a new layout that will start hiding stories with excessive posts. What does excessive posts mean? In their estimation, that is 3 slides. So users can opt in to view all of your story posts, but if they opt out, some people will only see 3 posts in your stories each day. So you do want to be sure that you are highlighting things in your stories that make the most sense for your business, either in terms of your products or new releases or your values or customer generated content if you're sharing what they've made. The other thing that you can do is there is a link that I forgot to put in here, but you can create reels from your story feed. Basically, you can go into all your story images and then basically put them all into a quick reel. Basically, it's like a slideshow or a carousel of images, and that might be a way to post everything you want to your stories and then also get a daily reel out of it or a weekly reel out of it. Pick your best content and put that into a reel. We previously Flossie, it took us through converting your still photos to video content using a free tool called Capwing. You can find a post on our blog about that, and that is just one of the many tools. You can also do it in Canva, and there are some other places that you can create videos from still photos, and that's something that you can use for stories. So let's move on to our third major platform, Pinterest. Pinterest has been a bit tempered this year. Pinterest saw explosive growth in 2020 and 2021, which was not surprising because Pinterest is a platform for where you can sort of plan your next activities. It is for future browsing and a place to bookmark things for future interests. A lot of people used it in 2020 and 2021. I do see the question. I'll get to it in just a second. Yeah, I was trying to not to lose my train of thought. In 2020 and 2021, people were planning what they were going to do when they got out of lockdown. They were making home renovation projects, they were planning vacations, they were doing tons of things, and Pinterest just saw absolutely explosive growth. There has been some fall off in 2022 as we go back to the real world, but it is still a useful platform for directing traffic to your site. Think of it as a referrer. So let me go into chat. Oh, thanks, Flossie, for adding that link. 38% of Pinterest users are falling right into your prime crafting demographic, 50 to 64 years, and represent the largest demographic on the platform. So again, this is a platform you probably don't want to miss out on because people are there and they are shopping and saving ideas for later. So Pinterest is focusing on creators who share top quality content. What is top quality content? High caliber pins that garner a lot of engagement. So a lot of comments, a lot of likes, a lot of shares. They are again valuing quality over quantity, which was something that they brought in last year. They also value new pins over repins. It used to be that Pinterest really wanted you to just be pinning to your profile. So whether the content was yours alone or whether it was coming from other sites or whether you were repinning things that you found on Pinterest, it used to value all of those actions. Now it really values you creating new pins over repins. So I will say that, this means that you have to create more new content for Pinterest. But the caveat to that is just because you create new pins, it doesn't have to necessarily be new content. For instance, 2 years ago, did you publish a really great guide to selecting Christmas gifts for craft lovers? You could republish or you could publish a new pin every season when the holiday season rolls around, in the fall or October, November. You could publish a new pin with new graphics and experiment with new text, but you could still drive them back to that post that you have already shared before. So you don't always have to create like new supporting content, but you do need to, on a regular basis, be creating content pins. Now, as we say, you definitely like to slice and dice your content and make it work for you. So if you write a blog post, about a particular topic, you ought to be able to generate potentially even 3 to 5 different pins about that same blog post and stagger them throughout the year. So again, you are creating new, fresh content for Pinterest in the form of a brand new pin or a brand new graphic, but you are not necessarily having to create all the supporting assets for that every single time. Again, if you are a designer and you are designing patterns, you might reshare new images, or I don't want to say reshare, you might create new pins with new images of finished objects from a pattern that you created. So you might reknit it, it might be featured somewhere, you might find someone in the community who has knit it who will allow you to share the image on Pinterest, and that could create a new graphic for the same pattern that you may have released a year ago. Again, creating new content for Pinterest, but not necessarily having to create new supporting assets. One of the new things that Pinterest did this year was Pinterest Presents, and I would encourage you to give this a watch. It's not super long. It is a video presentation designed for pinners to get the latest information on products, values-based shopping, and predictions for what's next with Pinterest trends. The reason you want to watch this is because you want to see if you have any items or any products, any content that relates to what Pinterest thinks is going to be hot next. For instance, we are seeing, and I don't know if this is in the Pinterest Presents trends, but we are seeing sort of a resurgence of crochet in summer garments this year. And so if you wanted to focus on one of those trending themes, if you have crochet garments and granny square crochet that turns in granny square crochet patterns for garments, those are things you really want to capitalize on this year because it is high on the list of things that are trending. So again, go ahead and make use of the Pinterest assets that they create to give you an idea of what's coming up. If they're focusing on bright colors or floral patterns or fuzzy or different textured fabrics, there are lots of things that you can figure out. Or if they post what the summer's hottest hue you is going to be. Do you have anything in that colorway? There are ways that you can sort of capitalize on Pinterest trends without creating a ton of extra work for yourself, because they've pulled together a lot of the guidance. Pinterest has started a creator rewards program. Like I said, these platforms are starting to value high quality content from pinners, and they are trying to give some incentives to those to create high quality content. So it's continuing to develop and refine its creator rewards program, and you can only access this through mobile. It does take some doing to access because you need to make sure that your profile is optimized and that you are creating some good stuff before you apply to be a member, because they will look at your profile and the pins that you have created to see if your content fits kind of what their idea is of what pinners want. Then honestly, what they do is they post a bunch of requests. So Thanksgiving tablescape, share a slice of fall, elevated table, whatever. The next one says rock the fall trends. If you have content that matches that, you can select that. You can create content for a pin, whether it be an idea pin, which is what they used to call story pins, or whether you're creating video content. You can upload that content and run it as part of this program. And then I believe in the month following, based on the amount of attention it generated, then you will be compensated. This is still in the early days, so we don't have a lot of reports. We do have a few of kind of the early adopters who say they're making between a few hundred and $1,000 a month. I'm sure that will not last forever. But if it does create more traffic for you, as well as bringing you a little extra cash, it might be something you want to think about if you are constantly creating new content anyway. So future features, Pinterest is kind of dangling these in front of us, and we expect that they will roll out in the next year or so. Your shop is a sort of individual shop just for you, based on how you have interacted with Pinterest. So things you've saved, things you've browsed before, places you've shopped before. It will give you kind of your own little curated shop. Checkout on Pinterest. Pinterest has always been a platform that sort of directs you to other platforms, and Pinterest is getting involved in sort of enabling shopping on platform. They have already allowed shops to become part of the verified merchant program, which we talked about in our previous update, and share their Shopify catalog with Pinterest, which enables shopping on Pinterest. At least right now, that's going through your own Shopify checkout, but Pinterest is now trying to keep you on the platform for seamless shopping and browsing experiences. So if you have a Shopify catalog, you might consider adding it to Pinterest to see if you gain any extra traction. Again, that is one of Pinterest's things that it takes a little time to do. You have to apply to become a verified merchant. They go through whatever criteria they have in their black box, which I'm afraid I don't know a lot about it, although I can give you a few more resources where you can learn from people who have applied and gotten in. And then that makes your catalog shoppable from Pinterest. Let's see. Can you sell patterns directly through IG and Pinterest for instant download? My guess is you have to have, I don't know, Rebecca, does Facebook allow digital downloads in their shopping catalog?
I don't believe so. I think that's one area they're still saying no.
Okay, so I don't think that you can do it with digital downloads. You would probably have to have a shopping platform enabled where you would send them. I do know that if, for instance, you have your patterns on Etsy, Pinterest and Etsy do a lot of work together because they like featuring small creators on Etsy. So you may be able to bring your Etsy listings over to Pinterest so that people could purchase directly from there. I know it won't work directly from Ravelry. You'd actually have to send them to Ravelry. But if you have a second shop, you may be able to direct traffic towards that shop. But I don't think you can make things without a Shopify shop. I don't think you can make things purchasable on Pinterest. You probably can do a download if it's through a Shopify catalog on Pinterest, because it does support Shopify, but to be honest, I don't 100% know. I can check that out and let you know. And then they're going to go into, expanded API for shopping. Like I said, this ties into the verified merchant program. We're not sure the specifics of that yet. Again, they're dangling things in front of us, and they'll let us know as they let us know. I can I can tell you that a really great podcast, let me go to my podcast feeder. I listen to the Simple Pin Collective, or sorry, the Simple Pin, okay. The website is Simple Pin Media, and they have a Simple Pin podcast, and I listen to that for all my Pinterest news. They are not Pinterest. They're an agency that works with clients who want to sell on Pinterest, and they do have contacts at Pinterest, so they get to do lots of interesting interviews on their podcast. It is on my don't miss podcast list every week, and so I learn a lot of the information that I learn about their programs and listen to interviews with verified merchants and those kinds of things on there. But that is the Simple Pin podcast, and that is with Kate All. Her last name is AHL. So, and that is a very good resource. So the last thing that I wanted to share about Pinterest is Pinterest put out an article and said that they are geared toward 6 types of pinners. This is kind of a really interesting article on who they think they're reaching and how they think they're reaching them. And again, this is something to use for reference as you think about creating content on Pinterest. So I should have started with this, but the focus for Pinterest is a little bit different necessarily than on Instagram or on Facebook. Instagram and Facebook is a lot about people who follow you and want to find out what you're doing and what products you're developing and what opportunities you can provide them with. Pinterest is less focused on brand and a lot more focused on whatever it is that they're looking for. If they are looking for how to sew a quilt, they don't care who sells it to them. They just want to know who will give them a quick tutorial for sewing a quilt. If they want to find out what color they should, incorporate into their new decor, which may include a knitting or crochet project or a sewing project, they're going to be looking for the hot new hues that are coming out. They're not necessarily looking for what brand is bringing out what. A lot of this content about who their main categories of pinners are and what it is that they're looking for can help you sort of refine your voice as you start to create content for Pinterest. So I just share these resources because particularly if you're doing your own social media, if we're doing it, we're already reading these things. But if you are doing your own social media, finding out how you align with what Pinterest is pushing out to its pinners will help you show up more in their feeds. So we haven't gotten into TikTok. We get lots of questions about it, and we haven't spent a lot of time on this platform. And honestly, the main reason that we haven't spent a lot of time on this platform is TikTok requires a lot of short form video content. And what we hear from a lot of our clients is that they don't like videos, they don't have time to produce videos. And so, if you're not producing short form video content, and much of the content for TikTok is pretty specifically geared around some certain themes and a really kind of informal look. And if you are not comfortable shooting that, then you really don't have a lot to gain from that platform. That's not to say that TikTok is not a huge platform. As of December 2021, TikTok ranked as the third largest social media platform, just behind Instagram and Facebook. It is huge among young folks and old folks, and it is a place where a lot of people are getting a lot of crafting inspiration. It has 755 million users, so not as much as Facebook or Instagram. It is something you can think about getting into, but again, you have to be creating video content for TikTok to really be successful for you. So, I don't want you to think about it a ton if you're not already thinking about creating lots of video content. That said, we want you to create video content. Video content is prioritized in algorithms, so it may be something that you should consider adding to your mix. Excuse me. TikTok is home of the short video. Like I said, at this point, you can upload videos up to 10 minutes in length, which may be interesting if you want to consider doing it sort of in a live situation where you're doing an Ask Me Anything, or you're sharing something in your process as you're doing it. For instance, dyeing yarn in your shop. But quite a bit of the content that we see on, TikTok is short videos, 1 to 3 minutes in length. They are really sort of what stops the scroll and gets people interested. We find that short and witty really takes the cake. You want to do something interesting and fun. You don't just want to stand and talk about your products as you potentially would on a Facebook or Instagram Live. you really need to kind of watch TikTok and get a feel for what's going on so that you can start to create your own content. Here are some ideas for short videos. Share your tips and tricks, introduce people to your brand and who you are, keep the videos short and fun, make use of trending music and topics. And then these are more personality than product focused. You want to share more about you and funny things you're doing and a little bit less about product sales, although you can register for a business account and then you can have a link in your profile to where they can find more of your products. So it is certainly something to drive more traffic to you, but I think you want to think about it more as an introducing yourself to, and what you do to the world, and sort of surprising and delighting them in unexpected ways, as opposed to just sharing photos so that they can potentially purchase a product. The other article that we thought was really interesting, and Flossie actually sent me this one, is in February of 2022, TikTok put out a new study that imagines their customers' retail journey as an infinite loop rather than as a traditional funnel. We have talked about the marketing funnel before. That is where you talk about people sort of information gathering, learning, getting to know you, getting to like you, getting to trust you. And then the next part of that is sort of a try and buy. So they might try something as a sample or as a free download, or they might buy your pattern and see what they think. And then the last portion of that, which we kind of have started calling the marketing hourglass, is repeat and refer, which means they're going to come back and purchase more things from you, and they're also going to tell their friends about it and then refer their friends to you. And so TikTok is kind of looking at this as an infinite loop that goes around and around and around, rather than as a kind of traditional funnel to get them into your shopping cart. The big takeaway is that in order to build a relationship with your customers that leads to repeated purchases, you need to be entertaining and authentic. That is kind of the ethos of TikTok, but of course that can also be applied to every social media platform. Be your authentic self, be entertaining, show them more of your personality, which will mean that they'll want to follow you and sort of become part of your fan club. And if you show them how your products fit into their life or make it easier or make it fun, they're going to be more interested in buying your products. So the last thing I will say is we have updated our guide. It used to be 7 pages. It's now 8. You're welcome. You can get it free either at the link below or in the blog post I talked about at the beginning of this. I will add the links to the description box below on YouTube. Again, you just sign up for our newsletter and you get this PDF guide for free. And it includes all of the things I talked about today, as well as our best tips and tricks for getting started and posting and advertising on a lot of these platforms. So at this point, I am going to conclude my presentation. I am open for any questions. I will tell you that our next, let me go look at my notes for just a moment. Our next presentation is going to be on July 19th. It is a presentation on Web 3.0, which I know is a little bit daunting, but with all the NFTs and all kinds of things that we are hearing about in the marketplace, we thought what we would do is just give you sort of a brief overview of what we consider Web 3.0 and give you some ideas on how it might affect your business in the future, or what might be happening in the next 3 to 5 years. Again, this is kind of a longer look at what is coming down the pike and what might be useful to you. So if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat or unmute yourself and we can chat now. And otherwise, we will see you on July 19th. I feel silly. I'm going to stop our recording now. Please stop this.